going on, everybody? I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. That is Ted Check. You are listening to Evil and Intoxicated, episode number 3. We're getting ready for one of the biggest weeks in UFC history, if not MMA history. Make sure you guys ask us questions in the live chat. Once again, I'm Evil Eddie. That's Ted Check. What's going on, Ted?
Hey, Eddie. Yeah, I had a little scare there. I couldn't hear you. You were just like... And I was like, I can't hear you.
My bad.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, it's insane. Dude, it's hot outside. We got our wife beaters on, and I'm just so excited, super pumped, feeling fan-frickin-tastic because it's fight week. And it's not just any old fight week. It is the fight week. It's the biggest, baddest show ever.
Yeah.
Biggest, baddest fight card. That's what they're calling UFC 200. But even before that, we've got 2 other cards. Tomorrow night and Friday night. So it's just, man, it's an MMA fan's dream come true. And it's great to see the sport where it is today. And, I mean, you know, it's going to be awesome.
It's definitely going to be awesome. I'm totally excited. But, like, to me right now, it really doesn't even feel real yet. It's like, Ariel said it the best. It really is the calm before the storm. And I feel like, you know, once the, we got to watch the weigh-ins, we got to watch the UFC 200 presser, and, like, I don't even think the fighters realize how big this is going to be. Like, this is going to be so crazy, and it's going to bring a lot of people back into MMA if they've, once watched, fell off for some reason. And this is definitely a good reason to get right back into it. Like, it's hot right now. And I'm excited for it. So I want to let you guys all know what you are in for tonight. We are going to do an hour show. That means from 10 to 11. And me and Ted have a great show set up for everybody in celebration of this entire week. We're going to give you guys some quick news updates. And, outside of UFC 200, whatever happened in this week, we're going to quickly review that for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to get right into it. We're going to chop right into this celebration. RDA versus Eddie Alvarez. And then after that, we're going to talk about Tough. And then we have a special guest, Ted. I got to luckily have on one of Bloody Elbow's own, the Eddie Mercado, who is actually texting me right now. He's downloading Skype, and he just sent me his name. So he's going to be tuning in for the game of
great.
The Dana White quote game. So how was your week, man? How was your weekend? 4th of July. It was a great celebration here in the States.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, of course, fireworks, celebrating this great nation we call America.
America,
yeah. No, but, fireworks, watching big fireworks, lighting off little fireworks. I mean, eating burgers and hot dogs, absolutely, man. It was awesome. So, but yeah, and what a great way to kind of lead into this week, starting really today. I mean, people are already in Las Vegas today, to watch the weigh-ins, to watch the press conference, and it goes all the way through this week. It's just an MMA orgy.
It's a great day to be an MMA fan, as you would say, right?
Yes, sir. It's a great day to be an MMA fan.
I keep bringing you up. I just actually, matter of fact, I just got an email or a text message, I should say. Now that it's 2016. I got an email from my boss saying that the new Pure Evil MMA podcast is now up on iTunes and Podbean for everyone to check out after the show. So definitely check that out for your morning ride to work, or just waking up, have something to listen to. And
this one, Eddie. We gotta get that on get this show on those platforms.
Definitely, I think that's a great idea. Like just the audio version of our show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's definitely a great idea. Do you have the chat room open up right now, Ted? I don't even have that pulled up.
Hold on. Let me move over and see what I can do. I'm kind of refreshing.
While you do that, I'm going to get everybody into the quick news updates, get everyone in and out of this so we can start the celebration, all right?
Yeah.
So
go for it, man.
I'm going to do a little pregame quick news update. So I'll get everyone warmed up. Why don't you pull up that chat room and see what we got going on. But for now, the UFC or the MMA news updates. The new UFC 200 gloves and shorts with color is now up. Ted, did you get a chance to see that? I know Sage Northcutt posted a picture of the new gloves. They say UFC 200 on them.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's a golden color, golden gloves, and it says UFC 200. So that's, I thought it was awesome. It was totally unexpected for me. I didn't, I had no idea that they were going to do such a thing. And thank you to Sage Northcutt for letting us in on that.
Definitely. And another thing, Ted, the new movie Bleed for This is coming out. Martin Scorsese. How do you say it? Martin Scorsese. That's based on Vinnie Paz's life, and you were actually telling me a pretty interesting story about that. You want to tell everyone?
Yeah, back in the, I'm gonna kind of, I don't care. I'm 46 years old. Back in the mid 80s, and back in the mid 80s, I grew up in Rhode Island. Okay, that's where Vinnie Pazienza, or he likes to be known as Vinnie Paz, just Vinnie Paz now. He grew up in Rhode Island. He fought a lot of his fights in Rhode Island. I saw one of his fights live at the Providence. Now they call it like the Dunkin' Donuts Center, but back then it was the Providence Civic Center. Was in the crowd and saw him take. He won a world title by decision over a guy named Greg Haugen, and so I was there live to see it. It was amazing. And so Pazienza, I grew up in the same. Same state as him. So I feel a connection to the guy in some way, although I've never had a conversation with him, except on Twitter. We've talked just a little bit on Twitter. But anyway, yeah, the movie looks great. The movie looks fantastic. Really looks well done. Miles Teller as Vinnie Paz just looks like he really immersed himself into the role. So I can't wait for it. I mean, the thing with Vinnie Paz is, he's in a horrific crash and broke his neck, and then came back from that crash and actually had, a resurgence to his career. Fought another 8 times after suffering that neck injury, breaking his neck, and he had a halo on. I just remember seeing him on the news with his halo on, and he's doing pull downs at the gym and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy's insane.
Wow. If you're looking for that to be coming out, it's going to be coming out in November. And we kind of we'll be talking about this more, definitely, because it's an interesting story. Ted has a backstory to it, so we'll be talking about that more. Also, guys, Bruce Buffer's coming up on his 20th year with the UFC. That's exciting, and he says that he's ready for 10 more years after this. He says he's just getting started. So
yeah, why not? I mean, he gets to travel around the world and meet all sorts of hot women. So why wouldn't he?
You want to know what? I heard that if you go to brucebuffer.com, if you have like a child on the way or you have a wedding coming up, he'll do a personal shout out for you, and I think it's like a couple $100. He said it's pretty affordable, but you can buy Bruce Buffer to do like an intro to your walkout at your wedding or an intro for the baby, being like stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool for an MMA fan.
Sure. He's very business minded. He's got all sorts of things, going with he and his brother Michael. That's his half brother.
Yeah, that's a good story too. The whole backstory with that. But also, guys, the UFC embedded for UFC 200, 1, 2, and 3 is now up. I think 4 might be up too as well. I haven't checked on that, but I know 1, 2, and 3 are up, and they're really good. So check those out before the event. And you know what? My girlfriend brought this up. It's so crazy being an MMA fan because the build-up to the fights are just so intense. You don't get that with baseball. You don't get that with many other sports, like their work up to the game. So I love that about it. And HBO does an amazing job with the boxing. The 48-hour, what is it, 48-hour, or the 30 for 30s too. Those are all amazing. Frank Mir requests to be released from the UFC.
Right.
I can't.
I just found out about that. Was it yesterday? I think. Yeah. He, he tested positive for a banned substance. Blamed it on the kangaroo meat that he ate. I guess before he fought.
And he got a 2-year suspension.
Yeah, 2 years. And so he says he was looking at his bank account. He was looking at his kids. He's got mouths to feed. And he's like, hey, I need to do something. So I think he's thinking about broadcasting with somebody, whether it's Bellator or Ryzen or.
Well, he does that podcast. What is it?
Phone booth fighting.
Yeah, phone booth fighting, and he's been on Fighter and the Kid, a whole bunch of podcasts. He's actually pretty good at it.
Oh, okay. I haven't given it a listen yet, but I know they had some type of like GoFundMe or or something like that, where he wanted about $5,000. He wanted people to donate about $5,000 so he could upgrade his equipment for his podcast. Which, look, I don't. I mean, if he wants to do that, that's fine. It was just kind of curious because he's been in the UFC for a while, and I think he's making fairly good money. I mean, not to say that fighters can't earn more money and shouldn't earn more money, but it was just kind of weird that he was like, "Okay, I have $5,000." It's found it funny.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, but yeah, he's pretty good at it, and he wants to be released from the UFC. He's had 27 fights inside that octagon, so he's not going to be able to come back till 2018, and
right. At that time it would be like 39.
Oh man, yeah. So World Series of Fighting signs Bellator veteran Jesse Brock. That's a good pickup for them. And Lion Fights 30 is going to be Friday night, guys. So I'm going to be there. Tune in between, back and forth, whatever. It's going to be a great event. They have amazing matchups. Shevchenko is going to be fighting. And her sister's actually, who fights in the UFC, is going to be fighting Holly Holm at UFC on Fox 20. So both of these girls trained, growing up. Their mother's involved with it. And it's going to be one heck of an event. So tune in for that.
Now, Lion Fights, Eddie, just so people know, that for those who aren't familiar,
it's Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. It's not just Glory kickboxing, because Glory doesn't allow elbows. This is Muay Thai.
Yes.
So they're using elbows, fists, knees, and legs. So
Chris Cyborg fought with them.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure Chris Cyborg has fought with them before as well.
I think so. Yeah, but it's pure Muay Thai. I really love that.
All right, so one more news update, and I was going to let this slip, but I really can't because I think it's amazing that this was 3 years ago, and thinking about it, it blows my mind. 3 years ago today, Chris Weidman knocks out Anderson Silva. Do you remember that one?
Oh my God, yeah.
My heart dropped. We didn't really know much about Chris Weidman at that time. We knew that he was a great competitor, but to see him take out Anderson Silva like that, and Anderson still not learning his lesson after that fight. We saw that in the Bisping fight where he was still kind of half, taunting, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's always done that. I don't think he ever will stop doing that. But even though Weidman, made him pay for doing such a thing, I just think that's Anderson Silva. No matter how many, he can fight until he retires. He's always going to do that kind of stuff. That's just ingrained in him. But Weidman, as he always walks out to "I Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty, and he did not back down from Anderson Silva. He was probably the first guy to not be afraid, to not show any fear, looking right at Anderson Silva. Most people probably lost their fights to Anderson Silva even before they got in the cage or right before the bell sounded because of just Anderson Silva's, the intimidation factor. But Weidman didn't back down and just kept pressing, kept taking it to Silva, and kind of, all that crap that Silva pulled, he he didn't let it affect him.
Also,
stuck to his game plan.
Also, remember the weigh-ins for that when Silva walked in, pretty much like kissed him on the lips?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the first fight.
Yeah, he tried to intimidate him, and it just didn't work.
So that happened 3 years ago today, and 2 years ago today, Ted, Frankie Edgar put an end to his trilogy with BJ Penn. That was 2 years ago today.
Yeah, some great fights there between Edgar and Penn. Edgar really seemed to figure him out. I love the way Frankie Edgar mixes up his boxing with his wrestling. It's just seamless. It's just effortless. He makes it look that way. He makes it look easy, the way that he transitions between his boxing and his takedowns, and there's some great fights there between the two of those guys.
Well, we're going to be talking about who we think's going to win in the Edgar and Jose fight. I see Sean saying that Edgar is going to win this weekend. We're going to be getting into that, and we're going to be talking about our predictions for that, the RDA fights. We're going to get right into that once we talk to the Eddie Mercado in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be giving him a call, and then we'll get into this whole fight week of everything going on. Ted, what's going on?
Hey,
You see me?
we're back. Oh yeah.
Oh, I got it. We're calling Eddie Mercado, getting him in now. All right. Woo! That took a minute, and I'm so sorry about that, everybody.
The DHEA.
What's going on, Eddie? I got everybody in here now.
What's happening?
So, Eddie,
Hello,
I am
Ted.
joined by Ted Check
Hey,
right
Eddie.
now. And Ted, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey Eddie, how you doing? Ted Check. Just got a little YouTube thing going for a couple years here, and then just hooked up with Eddie. We got this other thing going on. Oh, and there's Eddie's girlfriend in the background.
There's
There.
Angie Jabs.
Hi,
Oh
Andrew.
yeah, great to have you on the show.
So we're going to be playing the Dana White quote game, which pretty much consists of Andrea asking us questions, or quotes pretty much, and we got to guess whether or not it is Dana White or a UFC fighter. The chat room's going to play
If
along.
you know the fighter, you can guess the fighter.
Yeah, and if you know the fighter,
People
definitely.
Get an extra point.
All right. If you guess the fighter, then you get an extra point as well. All right.
Wow.
So the very
That's
first
a new wrinkle.
quote.
We didn't have that last week.
Yeah, I know. She actually thought of a pretty good idea for a game. I'll talk about it after. But let's get going with this. The very first question is this: Dana White or a UFC fighter? So you want to talk right into that, babe? Right up to it. Your lips on
Okay,
it. Like on
the
it.
first quote is, "Don't ever let anyone know you're injured." Or do we do that?
No, you're reading the wrong page.
No, I'm not. This is my quote.
Oh.
All right.
That was from week one,
All
wasn't it?
right. Ready?
Here, don't let me see him.
Sorry. Genius is insanity right up until it works. The quote is, "Genius is insanity right up until it works."
I want to say that was Forrest Griffin.
Ooh, he's coming out strong with the very first
Wow.
guess in the quote.
Am
What
I
is-
supposed? Is it supposed to be in the form of a question? Am I supposed to be like, who is?
You could do
Um,
whatever.
Yeah, like that's funny.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
However
guess
you prefer.
pretty much. Just let us know if you think it's Dana White or a UFC fighter. But that was on point. What do you think, Ted?
Well, I think it was a fighter. I don't know if it was Forrest Griffin. Honestly, I don't know if it was him, but I'm gonna go with it was a fighter. I don't think it was Dana White.
The chat room's all saying fighter as well. So I'm gonna say. Wait, one more time. What was that quote? Say it.
Genius is insanity right up until it works.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a fighter because it's pretty deep for Dana White to be a quote. So everyone here, we all guessed fighter, and Eddie, you guessed Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
So Eddie will get an extra point if it's Forrest Griffin. So the correct answer is,
Actually is Forrest Griffin, fighter.
Oh,
damn, Eddie's up 2-1 to 1,
Eddie.
and the
Coming
chat
out
room also
swinging.
got one, making a big impression here, Eddie. Damn. So wait, hold on. I just want to point out that right now it's on the line, Ed, and Ted.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's what we got going on right now.
That's insane.
Ed, and Ted.
Teddy.
So I think that's pretty
Yeah.
funny. So all right, Ed's in the lead right now with 2 points on top of us. So the next question, or the next quote, I don't know why I keep saying question. The next quote is this: Dana White or a UFC fighter? And Ted, this time you can go first, and then Eddie, and then I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, the quote is, "Some people like to call me cocky or arrogant." Some people like to call me cocky or arrogant.
Was that Dana White or a UFC fighter? Ted?
I'm gonna say it's a UFC fighter,
Okay.
John Jones.
Ooh.
Alright.
Does he
Let's
lose
say
a
it's
point if
John
it's
Jones.
wrong?
No.
What's that?
I said, should we lose a point if it's wrong?
So I'll be -1.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing around. So Eddie, what do you think?
I mean, that does sound very John Jones-ish. I'll say a fighter. I'm not sure who, but I'll say fighter.
Ooh. One more time for everybody. I'm just letting the chat room guess because there is a 5-second delay. One more time. What was the quote?
Some people like to call me cocky or arrogant.
I'm going to say that's Dana. I'm saying Dana. Mike Hill saying Dana. Minion McGregor saying fighter. Sean.
He thinks it's McGregor.
McGregor, wow. All right, so one more time. I'm saying fighter. Ted, who do you have?
I had John Jones.
And Eddie, who do you have?
I'm picking fighter.
And the correct answer is?
Ronda Rousey, fighter.
Ooh. You guys hear that? Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
All right, so I'm -1.
I'm not mad at that. I'm definitely not mad at that. All right, so let me pull this up. Skype. Eddie, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
I actually, Sean's actually listening right now. He's in the chat room. Sean from World Series of Fighting from Combat Sports Nation. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, he's in the chat room right now. All right, so
Okay. How do I see the chat room? What do I got to click on?
just go onto YouTube and type in Pure Evil MMA, and you'll see the live chat right there.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure you're in the lead right now, Eddie. Right?
Oh, sweet.
I'm pretty sure.
I tried to start strong so I can taper off as we go along.
That's funny. All right, so the next quote is this Dana White or a UFC fighter? And the quote is,
It's the most hardcore, full content sport in the world, meaning the UFC, obviously.
and one more time, what was the quote?
It's the most hardcore, full content sport in the world.
And I'll go first this time. I'm saying that's Dana White just because it's kind of a promotional quote. So now it goes to Ted and then Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie, I'm going to agree with you on that. I think that's Dana White-ish. So yeah, that sounds like something he would say.
And you know what? I have to agree with Dana White. This definitely is the best live event. It really is. Like out of any live sport, MMA is really, or any combat sport really. So Eddie, what do you think about this?
It sounds very Dana White-like. I'll pick Dana White. Sure.
All right, and do you guys see what the chat room's saying? Ted, do you see what the chat room's saying? Dana.
Dana.
So the correct answer is
Dana White.
ooh.
Yay!
So Eddie, you're still in the lead, and we are still one under you, correct?
Holding strong. I'm
Holding strong. Damn. Wait, Eddie, where exactly do you live, man?
I'm in Virginia.
Oh,
East Coast.
really?
Yes, sir.
You came all the way from Virginia to Foxwoods the other week?
Yep, absolutely. Anytime there's a fight up there or at the Mohegan Sun,
And listen,
more than likely catch me up there.
Before we go any further, since we were in such a panic because I couldn't connect the two, Eddie, do you want to just give everyone, where they can find you on social media and what you do before we go further on with the game?
Sure, I'm a writer for BloodyElbow.com. You can catch me on there doing interviews or highlights, results, whatever they have me doing. We do a show called the MMA Vivisection. We got a show called the Sixth Round. Just a whole bunch of MMA related stuff because I can't get enough of it. But you can follow me on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. My YouTube channel is the Eddie Mercado, or actually I think it's just Eddie Mercado. But yeah, that's about it.
And Eddie, is that your full-time gig there with Bloody Elbow?
No, I also have a day job. I work for an IT company, and when I'm not there, I'm watching fights or talking about fights or talking to fighters. So
Awesome.
I'm addicted.
All right, so pretty much Eddie was like one of the most impressive people I saw at World Series of Fighting 31 with the questions that you were coming up with. And we got some pretty good interviews, man. Jason Hyde, that fight was amazing. And then, the very last fight, we couldn't really interview him, but
Yeah.
we got Copeland to do an interview with us, or like a little media scrum. So that was exciting. You can check
How about
that
that
out
fight,
on my page. And where can they find that? On the Bloody Elbow site?
What's that?
All the interviews that you do. That's on Bloody Elbow.
BloodyElbow.com. You can just search. You can search for my name, and it'll pull up all my stuff. Or you can search any particular fighter, and more than likely something about them will pop up, whether it's an interview or news or updates. Or.
All right. So we got 2 more questions for you. Is everyone ready for this?
Ready.
Yes,
All right. So the next quote.
All right. Don't be the guy laying in the hospital bed going, I wonder what would have happened if I tried. The worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't work. One last time, the quote is, don't be the guy laying in the hospital bed going, I wonder what would have happened if I tried. The worst thing that could have happened is that it doesn't work. Was that Dana White or UFC fighter?
It's like 90s on Nickelodeon.
I think.
So Eddie, you're first, man.
I think I'm gonna go fighter on that. It sounds like something a fighter would say. Can you read it one more time?
One more time.
Don't be the guy laying in the hospital bed going, I wonder what would have happened if I tried. The worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't work.
That's a pretty good one.
That is a good one. That's tough. I can see Dana saying that. I could definitely see Dana saying that, but I can definitely see a fighter saying that. I think I'm gonna go fighter. I'm gonna stick with fighter. Fighter was my gut. We'll go fighter.
Ted, what are you thinking on this, man?
I'm going Dana White. I'm going Dana White on this.
All right. So the correct answer. Wait, I didn't even say mine yet.
Yeah. What's yours?
All right. One more time. What was the quote?
Don't be the guy laying in the hospital bed thinking, I wonder what could have happened if I tried. The worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't work.
I'm going with Dana White on that because I'm pretty sure I've heard him say that before on one of the seasons of Ultimate Fighter.
I was gonna say it sounds like an Ultimate Fighter quote.
It does, because a lot of people on Ultimate Fighter, they something happens with weight cut and they want to give up, but at the same time, a coach could have said that at the same time. So I'm sticking with Dana White. What was the correct answer?
Dana White is the correct answer.
All right.
So round off the score. The chat room's actually doing pretty good tonight too. I'm pretty surprised. So let's tally the score really quick. I'm pretty sure me and Eddie are tied right now, and Ted, you're down by 1.
Oh, we are gonna go with the negative thing.
Oh wait, why are you tied?
No, I mean no, that's fine. That's fine. You had me at negative.
Wait, didn't you just get that one wrong?
No, you got it right.
Oh, you got it right. All right, then me and you are tied, and Eddie's still up 1, right? You got it right as well, Eddie?
No, I got that one wrong.
Oh! We have a tiebreaker.
Doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I'll keep
tired.
track of the points next time.
I gotta write them down next time.
I will.
Too much wacky tobacco, Eddie.
No. None of that. But this is gonna be pretty crazy. We've never had a tiebreaker on the show before.
Well, because this is the last question now, right?
And it's the last question. We might.
Ooh, right.
Uh-oh. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? All right. So the next quote.
All right. The last quote is, my success isn't a result of arrogance. It's a result of belief. My success is not a result of arrogance. It's a result of belief. Is that Dana White or UFC fighter? And if you think you know who, you can guess.
Here, let's see what the chat room's saying.
Last question.
This is a big one, so think about it. I might have to look to the chat room for advice on this.
Phone a friend, right?
One more time for everybody. What was the quote before anybody answers?
My success isn't a result of arrogance. It's a result of belief.
So I'm gonna say that's a tough one. Does anyone else want to go first?
I like what the chat room's saying here with McGregor.
Oh yeah.
McGregor. You got Sean Gilday. He's saying McGregor, and Minion McGrognan.
Minion McGregor.
Minion McGregor is saying McGregor as well. So I'm going to agree with them.
I'm gonna say Dana White. I'm gonna go against you. Spice it up. I'm gonna go with Dana White. So Eddie, it comes down to you, man, and it looks like you know what the answer is too. It looks like he knows he won this.
No, I don't know. Let's hear it one more time.
All right, one more time for everyone.
My success isn't a result of arrogance, it's a result of belief. My success isn't a result of arrogance, it's a result of belief.
I bet Siri can find it.
I don't want to cheat. I'm not going to cheat. I'll say Dana White.
Yeah? Wait, why? Why do you want to... Why?
He seems like a believer. I feel like, he's someone who's definitely believed in the company. And, for that quote to even be relevant, I would feel like it has to come from Dana White.
I like that response, man. And so I got Dana, Eddie's got Dana, Ted's got fighter.
Right.
What is the chat room saying? Anyone else relay their votes? And the correct answer is
Dun, 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 dun. Conor McGregor.
Oh, yes!
Ted wins it for the first time.
Okay, I was too excited for that. This little contest.
Wow, dude! Wow.
I never anything in my life.
That was a good quote. I could see it now. I could totally see Connor saying that now.
No, thanks to Sean and Minion. They were the guy. They gave me the idea for it. So.
Damn. So Eddie, thank you so much for coming on, man. What's your plans for UFC 200?
Oh man, I'm gonna be just watching it, and I'm gonna have butterflies. I always get butterflies for certain events. I mean, Brock Lesnar is about to fight Mark Hunt. Like what?
Oh yeah.
Who you got in that real quick? Who you taking?
All right, so everybody is saying, and I'm going to be talking about this later, so I'm leaning towards Brock. I really am. I'm leaning towards Brock, and I'm getting a lot of lip for it, but I'll explain why later in the show in about a couple minutes, so we're going to get into that. But honestly...
Hunt with the walk-off knockout.
You're going with Hunt, Ted?
Lesnar.
Here's the thing. I could totally see Hunt winning, but I don't think it's going to be a landslide like everyone thinks it's going to be. No one's given Brock Lesnar any credit at all. So
I got Brock.
I know this. There's no logical reason to pick Brock Lesnar in this. And whenever that happens and you're in one of those situations, like Bisping and Rockhold.
I picked Bisping on that as well.
I picked Bisping too, but most people didn't.
Yep.
And...
I picked Rockhold.
You just kind of got to look at it. Like, why is it? It doesn't make any sense. And the odds are so close. I don't know. I think he's going to shock the world.
I agree.
Again.
And he was also saying that, he's open to other fights after UFC 200. But thank you so much for coming on the show, Eddie. Everyone can find Eddie on bloodyelbow.com. He writes some amazing stuff, gets amazing interviews. And one more time, what was your Twitter account for everybody?
You find me on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, man.
All right, thank you, man, and I hope to see you at the next event.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Thank you.
All right, have a good night. And wait, one last question. What are you covering for Bloody Elbow over the weekend? Because I know that the way you guys do it over there is that one person will cover like the updates, one person will cover this. What are you doing?
Okay, so tomorrow I will be on the Bloody Elbow Facebook doing a Facebook live chat preview for UFC Fight Night 90 Dos Anjos versus Alvarez. And then I will also be doing betting previews for that as well as the Tough 23 finale. I will be doing highlights for the Tough 23 finale and Fight Night 90.
Nice, man.
And I'll be doing the 6th round for UFC 200 over on MMANation.com on YouTube. It's DOTCON.
All right, well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I love the way that you guys do that over there at Bloody Elbow. I think that's a great idea to break it down that way. So have a great weekend, Eddie, and I hope to talk to you soon, man. Thanks for coming on Evil and Intoxicated.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All
See ya.
right, later,
Take care,
man.
Ted.
What's going on, Ted?
Hey, Eddie.
All
That was
right,
great.
bye,
That was
Ted. I'll
exciting.
see you soon. And thanks everybody in the chat room. It was fun, and I'm glad you won. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats on that, Ted. So good night. I'll be out there in a little bit. Me and Ted are about to start the celebration review UFC 200 for everyone. I will after, but we're running a little tight on time.
Yeah.
And but that was fun. That was
Blast.
that was definitely a blast. And congratulations, Ted, on that. So all right, man, let's finally get into it. UFC 200. Well, before we get into UFC 200, we have events before that. Before we dive right into that, we have
Right.
RDA, and we'll make this nice and fast for everyone because we really do want to focus on 200 event.
Yep.
So we got RDA versus Eddie Alvarez coming up.
That's
what do you-
tomorrow night.
and it's going to be tomorrow night. All right, well, let me give a quick rundown on everything. RDA looked absolutely amazing, but Eddie Alvarez looked really confident, I thought. I thought he looked extremely confident, and, you know, he does have that bulldog fight in him, too, that he really hasn't been showing lately because he's been playing it safe. He did exactly what he needed to do in that Pettis fight. It wasn't exciting, but he did exactly what he needed to.
Right.
And RDA, if we look at his last 3 fights, Cowboy, Pettis, Diaz, and, you know, the 4th one, Benson Henderson. So those are names that are not easy. How he knocked out Cowboy, and yeah, I know Cowboy didn't look like Cowboy that night when he walked out. He had a lot on his mind, it seemed like, but there's no denying that underestimated power of RDA that everyone's undermining. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, yeah, all compliments to RDA. He is a complete fighter.
He has 5 fight night bonuses.
Very, very impressive. There's no doubt about it. The guy's a killer. But I think Eddie Alvarez has the kryptonite for RDA. I think Eddie Alvarez has kind of he's morphed into a different type of fighter now that he's in the UFC. And his last 2 fights, he really, yeah, like you said, he is. You can't say that he's really an exciting fighter, but he's an effective fighter. And I think he's going to be able to do what he did to those other guys. He's going to do the same thing to RDA. He's gonna wrestle. He's gonna stifle him. He's gonna close the distance and clinch and get him on the ground. And he's gonna get a decision win.
A decision win? You're calling a decision win?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, man. All right, I can kind of see it going to decision, but I'm leaning towards a knockout here, and I totally see where everyone's coming from with Eddie Alvarez. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was eating the Skittles when McGregor was supposed to fight RDA, and I really thought RDA had no chance. But then I started doing a little more research on, you know, more of his stats other than what I've just seen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he really does have some power behind those hands. He has I was looking at his quickest win was in 59 seconds back in 2011. He had a knockout and a 52% finishing rate. He's amazing jiu-jitsu. But
Right.
Eddie Alvarez, his last 3 fights, Pettis, Melendez, and then he lost to Cowboy, didn't he?
Is that what you've got there? It escapes me. Is that what we've got?
Yeah, Cowboy's beat him before.
Okay.
But you know, Eddie Alvarez is 27-4. His quickest win was in 1 minute against Chris Schillinger. He has a 78% finishing rate, amazing striking, boxing, wrestling, and I could totally agree with you here. He's probably going to do exactly what he did to Pettis, but I think that's what's going to get him caught, is trying to, you know, hold him down and wrestle him. I think he's going to get caught by that power, man.
Well, I mean, that's definitely something to watch out for with RDA. Absolutely, you know, I mean, you gotta prepare for that, and I think Eddie thinks it's his time. You know what I mean? You know, call it destiny, like Michael Bisping called it. You know, it's been a long road for Eddie Alvarez. You know, he was a long time Bellator.
Yeah,
champ.
we watched him reign for a while.
But he always, I think he always had in the back of his mind that he was gonna eventually make the jump to the UFC. And here he is, finally.
I just think that RDA is at like the top right now with I think he's in his prime. I really do. I think that he's in his prime. So I'm going RDA by knockout in the second round.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for. Call me crazy. And let's finally talk about the main card on UFC 200. Every fight on this card could easily be a headliner, easily. And this next fight we're about to talk about is huge for Cain in his return, who was once, it's going to be Cain Velasquez versus Travis Brown. And this is going to be huge for Cain because we're seeing him make his return. The man who we all thought was the most dangerous man on the planet at one point is going to be making his return. How do you see this fight going, Ted?
Cain Velasquez is going to win. Cain, you know, because we're going to see. You remember the whole business of sea-level Cain?
Yeah.
And, yep. You know, there was that that idea, that notion that, well, maybe he didn't, you know, he didn't get to Mexico City in time, so he didn't get used to the altitude or what. Forget about all that. Now we're going to see the old Cain, you know, the Cain who has cardio for days.
For days.
And he's just going to be all over Travis Brown. He's just going to crowd him. He's going to dirty box him. He's going to take him down. The only thing he has to be concerned with, the only thing he has to watch out for is he needs to finish that takedown, not make the mistake that others have of, you know, getting Travis Brown up against the cage and just kind of hanging out there so that Travis Brown can do this to you. Because if he does that...
Wait, Ted. Show us one more time. I just put it back on the TV screen. If he does that...
Yeah. That's the elbows to the side of the head.
Yep.
Okay? So you got to watch out for that. But I really think that Cain is, you know, I mean, the cardio is going to be there and the punches are going to be there and he's just going to crowd. Travis Brown is 6'7". He loves to use his length. So Cain needs to you know, his equalizer is to get close and stifle him.
Did you say that you watched the weigh-ins today or no?
No, I missed the weigh-ins. I saw the press conference and the face-off.
Did you see any you saw the pictures of the face-offs?
Oh yeah, sure. Brown was towering.
Yeah,
over.
I was about to say that. Them next to each other. That put things into perspective. But I do think Cain just looks like a powerhouse, a brick house gorilla. Cain is ready to take anyone out right now. He's hungry to get that belt back. But the question is, how's his back?
I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. You raise a very, very good point there. And, you know, you figure with guys with teammates like Daniel Cormier and Luke Rockhold and others at American Kickboxing Academy, that's been tested, you know. So I would have to say, and I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so I'd have to say he's good to go. And so, you know, I don't see it being a problem. I don't see it being a factor here.
Well, I'm going to say that Cain is going to win this by knockout. I really am going for it. Hapa really has been nothing to shy away from, though. His last fight with Mitch Real, and that was scary. But then again, that fight with Arvlovsky, that was one of my favorite fights with Travis. And even though he lost it, that was a war.
It was, certainly. It was kind of like, it was one of those, it didn't go on. Did it go past the first? I can't remember, but it reminded me, it was like that back and forth battle, kind of like a Wanderlei Silva and Brian Stan. Kind of like that kind of a fight. Just a knockdown, drag out, go for broke, swing for the fences kind of fight. Slobber knocker. Yeah, that's what it is, a slobber knocker.
That was at UFC 187. I'm pretty sure that was the first round it ended in.
Okay. But yeah, so Travis Brown, I mean, he's a knockout artist for sure, but you know, he needs to have that space there to work his punches and kicks.
Yeah.
You know, he has those long limbs, and yeah, when the two of them were standing there, you know, Travis Brown's 6'7" and Cain is listed at 6'1". I was like, whoa, there looks like more than 6 inches in between these guys. I think either Travis Brown grew a couple inches or Kane's height is kind of elevated, exaggerated a bit. I mean, he didn't look any more than 5'11". So, but that could end up not being a factor here. Like I said, if Kane is able to get in close on Travis Brown and stay there and just wall and brawl him.
Everyone in the chat room, they said that Cat was going to win. Everyone's saying Cat's going to win for that fight with in the prelim.
And Minion is picking Kane.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
see. But Ted, I know that right now it says 11:27 and we went over, but I have to after this video I'll be able to edit out a lot of the minutes because we had some troubleshooting, remember?
Yeah.
So we're pretty much right on schedule. That took a little while.
Yeah, for some reason when I upload videos to YouTube, they won't let me do like a 2-hour thing. Like
this video will be about an hour and 15, an hour and 10 minutes because I'll be able to cut it out afterwards, and I'll be able to do it quick too. All right, so I'm honestly going for Kane here. I really want to see him get that belt back. I think he is going to get that belt back. I really do.
I'd like to at least see him try. I'd like to see the rematch with Verdum.
He needs to make some changes with who he's training with, I think, though. I know that he's been having some issues with one of the people that's been training him lately. I forgot who, but he's not.
About Kane?
What?
You're talking about Kane or Verdum?
Kane.
Oh, okay.
But that's another story for another show, another time.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I got Kane winning this one. So let's get into the very next fight.
Okay, Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar for the, I guess it's the interim featherweight belt, correct? Because Conor still has the featherweight belt, and this is for the interim belt. Am I right?
Yep, you're absolutely right. And this is going to be huge for Jose Aldo to make a comeback. And I don't know about you, but I'm originally thought Frankie had this. But I've been watching some of trying to keep up with Aldo, and I really think that he's going back to the roots here, and we're going to see him with some brutal kicks on Frankie and get the win.
Here's where we disagree, Eddie.
That's good. Tell me why.
All right. Frankie Edgar. I think kind of like Bisping. I think he feels it's his time.
I agree with that. I'll agree with you.
Destiny. His mind is so strong, so sharp, and he looks at Aldo and says, you know what, this guy's time has passed. He may not be that old, but he's already been the champ, and then he got finished in 13 seconds by Conor McGregor. So Frankie's like, it's my time now. The first fight between the two of them, I think Frankie thinks he won. I thought Frankie won that first fight with Aldo.
That always happens to Frankie.
It has. He's been robbed a number of times. But I think Frankie thinks, hey, this is my time now. All I got to do is get through this guy, and then I get Conor.
Then no one can decline me of the belt. Yep.
Right. He's, because he's been passed over before and done wrong before. Or at least that's what he feels.
Well, listen, Ted. Last year at International Fight Week, when he beat Chad Mendes, they pretty much promised him a fight for the belt. And now, a year later, here we are. He has to fight the killer of Jose Aldo, coming off the biggest loss of his career that he's absolutely embarrassed about, and has been working and training like a killer to come back and show the world that he still has it. He still is the most dangerous man in that division. There's a reason why he was champion for 10 years and the only champion the UFC's ever had in the featherweight division up until Conor McGregor. I think that he's going to take Frankie down. He has amazing takedown skills. I think he's going to take Frankie down and finish him.
Wow.
But you know what? The question is, how is Jose going to respond after a 13-second knockout when he fought Conor McGregor up against Frankie Edgar, who's on such a momentum of a run right now, who, like you said, is really believing that it's his time, it's his destiny. And like I said at the beginning, a couple weeks ago, I was on the same page believing it's definitely Frankie's time, and after seeing what he did to Chad Mendes, there was no doubt in my mind. But after seeing this look in Jose's eyes, and just hearing what his coaches were saying about how he's really been affected by that knockout and that loss and how bad he really wants it, I wouldn't want to be fighting Jose Aldo come UFC 200. So if Frankie wins, God bless him, but he's going to go in there against a killer at least.
No, you are correct. You are absolutely correct, Eddie. I guess for me, well, two things. It just occurred to me. Both of these guys, I think, are obsessed with Conor McGregor.
You think?
No, I mean, I think they can't help but think about Conor McGregor, and they may be both. I don't know if they're overlooking each other, but they're thinking about Conor. They're thinking about the end game, which is Conor McGregor.
They don't want that interim belt.
You know, like Jose Aldo says, hey, before I retire, I want another crack at Conor McGregor. I don't care what weight it is. I'm gonna fight that guy again. And Frankie is thinking the same thing. Frankie's thinking, okay, if I just get through Aldo, then I get Conor, then I get to unify. You know, I get to be the undisputed champion. So I think they're both thinking about Conor McGregor, possibly too much. But anyway, but back to this fight though. Frankie's got great wrestling, so Aldo might find it difficult to take him down. But I do agree with you.
Edgar has amazing wrestling. I agree.
I do agree with you that Edgar's got to really, really watch out for those leg kicks.
Yeah.
He does. But Edgar has great footwork and great head movement. He's always
And we know he has heart when he really needs to push for it.
Right. I mean, especially, you know, he can get knocked down. He can be seeing stars, and he's going to keep coming. You know, and he's going to, like we were talking about earlier in the show today, when you brought up the fights with BJ Penn. Edgar is going to, we're going to see that again with Edgar. He's going to seamlessly transition from boxing to takedowns and back again. And he's going to try to confuse Aldo so that Aldo doesn't know what's coming next.
Wow, I like that. I can see.
It's going to be a takedown. Which way is he going to go, you know?
I could definitely see that happening. But Jose Aldo also, you know, he's only lost twice in his career. He's 25-2. Frankie's
Right.
19-4.
Very impressive.
You know, they're 1 inch. Jose's 1 inch taller, and it's gonna be one hell of a fight. It really is.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like you were saying. Any of these on the main card could be main events on other cards, and this is definitely one of them right here that could be. If we weren't looking at UFC 200, you know, Aldo versus Edgar could main event.
And the part that no one, even though you're saying that, you know, they're overlooking one another, it's because whoever does win this fight is going to be involved in one of the biggest fights in UFC history next year, and next year's biggest fight, at least for that belt against Conor McGregor. They know that that's going to be a money fight, and if they can beat Conor McGregor, it's going to make a huge statement. And I can see Jose. That's what I really want to see. I want to see Jose come back and win that belt. My girlfriend keeps thinking that Jose is like 39. I'm like, no, he's only 28 years old. But don't get him wrong.
He's old.
He's a UFC fighter. He's been fighting for years. He's a 29 or 28 or 29, but he's an old 28, 29. He's beat up. You know, he's been through some wars.
Sure.
But he has very, very strong ground game, knockout power, amazing stamina. And everyone's saying he's getting old, but I don't see that. I can see that his body may be old, but you're talking about somebody who has 15 knockouts under their belt. I'm excited for it. I'm going Jose. You're going Frankie.
Yep.
Let's talk about Miesha Tate.
Yeah, I saw her today. You know, when they faced off, and she, you know, of course, she looked great, but she, you know, she had this skirt
And high heels.
High heels, of course, and a little top, and you could see her abs. You know, people talk about Amanda Nunes' abs, but you could see Miesha's
Claudia's
as well.
abs too.
Yeah, so Miesha looked to be in great shape, and you know, she talks about her legacy, and that this is she's not thinking about anyone else really. She's thinking about Amanda. and just one opponent at a time. Of course, she's always got Ronda Rousey in the back of her mind, but she's not looking past. Because I saw an interview with her, and she was very careful in kind of steering the questions back towards Nunes, and didn't really want to talk about Ronda Rousey too much.
Yeah.
So I think that was smart, and coming off of that, she's got great momentum coming off of the win to get the belt over Holly Holm.
Amanda can overwhelm Misha. She lands a lot per minute. She's always going in there with flurries, and
yep, it's good flurries. That's for sure.
But it's a pretty even matchup, if you ask me. I think Misha has better submission skills and definitely well-rounded fighter. We know that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I was watching a fight with Nunes, and if I remember correctly, she was put on her back a bit, and so Misha's nickname before she was Cupcake.
Yep.
She was Takedown. Misha Takedown Tate, and so I think it was Kat Zingano versus Amanda Nunes, and Nunes was put on her back, and despite being a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, seemed to be having some difficulty there. And so we could see a repeat of that with Misha Tate, because you just have to know that Misha Tate has been studying up on Amanda and has seen that fight, and was like, okay. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen here with that. I mean, Misha will stand up with her for a bit, but I definitely see Misha using her punches to set up the takedown, and really is going to feel more at home getting her on the ground and being on top, and so I'm going to go with Misha Tate. But Amanda. All right, I'm going with submission.
Me too. I'm going with Misha Tate submission in the 4th round.
Submission. Yes.
Misha Tate submission 4th round. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt.
Whew. Well, I did a video on this. I'm not going to go against the video. I'll just tell you what I said, which was Mark Hunt by walk-off knockout. He's famous for his walk-off knockouts. I don't see this one going any different than any of those others. I mean, Brock Lesnar, yes, is a great athlete, but he said that he's been training here and there while he's been a professional wrestler for the WWE, but he's going up against Mark Hunt. Okay, Mark Hunt is a dangerous striker.
Oh, yeah,
and is. He's not the kind of guy that you can just hop into a couple of months worth of training and hope to win. That said, Brock Lesnar, like I said, is a great athlete, great natural athlete, and natural. Mark Hunt would say he's not natural, but no, he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete, and he's a great wrestler, and so he's going to be going for the takedown. So it's a clash of styles here. Styles make fights. Mark Hunt is a striker. Brock Lesnar is a wrestler. We're going to see who can work their game, who can be the master of their technique over the other.
Well, here's where I'm coming from. I'll agree with you. Mark Hunt is definitely dangerous. His record is 12-10-1. Brock Lesnar's 5-3-0. And like I said earlier, Brock Lesnar's 4th professional fight, he became champion against one of the toughest men in that division. Everyone's underestimating Brock Lesnar for some reason, and it makes me really scratch my head as to why. And I understand, how he went out of the game, and everyone doesn't like that he's from the WWE, but we cannot deny that he's a powerhouse, and we might not see anyone like this man ever again walk into the UFC or in MMA in general. This dude is a titan. He really is. Everyone is thinking that this fight's going to end by a landslide, but I really disagree. Hunt has that right hand, definitely, but he's also 42 years old, and I'm tired of hearing everyone switch up their opinions about Mark Hunt fight to fight. A lot of people switch up their views on Mark Hunt from fight to fight, if you ask me.
I look at it I look at who he's fighting. I mean, I'm sure I've picked against him. I'm sure I've picked for him. I mean, it depends who he's fighting. But
well, I'm not saying you, and I've done it in the past. But I can see where everyone's coming from and why they're saying Mark Hunt's going to win, because he's been on a roll lately, one hell of a roll especially. But right. Lesnar's wrestling, he's just a freak athlete. His size, strength. You saw the stare off today. I mean,
yeah,
you know, he beat.
Oh, he's got a good 4 inches at least on Hunt. I think Mark Hunt is listed at 5'10".
Lesnar has such good accuracy on top of it.
Yeah. So okay. So how do you see this going, Eddie?
I see Lesnar taking him down and just beating his face in. I think that there's gonna be some exchanges for sure. We've seen Brock Lesnar in trouble plenty of times, and we've seen that he really doesn't like to get hit. Definitely.
That's what they say.
When you're going up against Mark Hunt, you're definitely not gonna like getting hit at all. But you know what? I think Lesnar's prepared for that, and if anyone can, take a punch, it's going to be a titan like Brock Lesnar. I could see Lesnar getting knocked out, though. I can see this fight going both ways easily, and that's what I want to mention. That's what's sticking out the most. I'm not saying this is going to be a landslide at all for either fighter.
Okay.
That's my argument. I could see this going for Mark Hunt. I can see it going for Lesnar.
So it's kind of a coin flip, huh?
It is for me. But, I'm saying this because I've seen so many people say, there's no way Brock Lesnar. It's like, how long have you been watching MMA for?
And I'm picking Mark Hunt. But yeah, just let me clarify this.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that to you, Ted.
No, it's all right, Eddie. It's cool.
I'm on Twitter a lot, man. I hear a lot of,
Yeah. Lesnar has a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, Lesnar has a chance for sure. But I'm leaning towards, and I'm picking Mark Hunt. I just think, Hunt knows what Lesnar's going to do. He's going to try to take him down. So Hunt has been training his takedown defense as well as he can. As much as he can. He's been training that.
All right, well, answer this question for me, Ted.
All right.
Who would win, Brock Lesnar or Stipe? Brock Lesnar or Verdum? Who wins in both those fights? Brock versus Stipe, Brock versus Verdum. Who wins?
Stipe beats Brock because Stipe has a wrestling background as well, so he's going to be able to defend the takedown, and his striking is far better than Brock's. Verdum has more than decent striking. He's really improved in his striking, and of course his jiu-jitsu is otherworldly. I don't know. I might have to say Verdum. God.
Oh, damn. Then I guess I can't say what I was about to say.
I'll say it anyway.
Well, I was hoping that you were going to say Brock would win in both those fights, and the reason why I wanted to ask is because those are the last two people that beat Mark Hunt. So I guess I can't say that now.
You're trying to use a little MMA math on me.
A little bit. I mean, if you thought that Brock beat both those guys and both those guys, already beat Mark, I was going to say, what about that? But you one-upped me on that one. So
trying to catch me in something there.
Not really, but, I was just trying to make you think, like.
I got you, man.
It definitely seems like you're positive on Mark Hunt. I could see that happening, man. Definitely. I could definitely see that happening. But I'm leaning towards Brock to win this. I am.
But I could see your way. I could see it your way.
I don't think Brock's going to knock him out standing up. I think Brock's going to knock him out when he's on the ground. I think it's going to be a knockout on the ground.
Sure, like with Couture, with the fight with Couture. He gets him on the ground, and then he just kind of hammer-fisted him into oblivion.
That's the way I see it. But, he could definitely get knocked out. I mean, I'm not saying that. Mark Hunt's a monster. All right, are you ready? Are you ready, Ted? DC versus John Bones.
Oh, all right. I was just going to say one more
quick
thing.
Say it. Shoot.
All right. Then he said, and you mentioned this earlier, about that he was saying, hey, this might not be it. There might be another fight. After this fight, we'll have to see. But
correct.
His words were something like, I forget what he said exactly, but
He said that I never say never.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll never say never. So maybe he's just being a tease. You know, he's trying to punk us, or maybe he really means it, or maybe it depends on whether he wins or loses. I don't know. So we'll just that's it. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Well, that's going to be a great fight. I just can't wait. And if Lesnar decides to stay, we really got to wait and see. You know what I mean? We got to wait and see what happens this weekend. And I just can't wait for that cage door to shut. I really can't. It's going to be nuts.
Oh, it's going to be freaking bananas, man.
We're about to literally witness history, something that we'll be telling our grandchildren about. And I'm so happy to be doing this little warm-up pregame show with you, Ted. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely.
You know, I love talking MMA, and sometimes it's hard talking to some of my friends about this stuff because, like I was saying before, some people just get so personal about who their picks are, and, you know, it's not a sport when you start getting mean. Like, this is all about fun. It's like, you know, are you a Yankees fan or Red Sox fan? The second that you get violent about it, it's not fun.
Right, and people have their favorites, and I get that. And you know their favorites are close to their heart and everything like that.
Well, because it's a sport where you get attached to one player, not an entire team. You know.
Right. Yep. And you get connected with them, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook
or the UFC embedded. You know, watching what they do at home, how they are at fan. You know what I mean? So,
and that's another thing about this. This sport grew up with the internet. So I think people have more access to fighters than they do to other athletes. You know, I think fighters are more personable than other athletes are, and that's another reason why I love the sport.
My girlfriend was saying the same thing this morning, man. We were watching the embedded, and she was like, you know, they can't do this with baseball or basketball because, you know, just the entire workup and what goes in your head, like the questions that run through your mind about, you know, who's gonna win the fight, and then once that cage door shuts, it's on, and the excitement there, and that's why I love MMA. It's the best live sport of all time, I think. Always at the edge of my seat, and if we all agreed with one another, we wouldn't be at the edge of our seat. We wouldn't even tune in. So, all right, John Bones versus DC, finally going down. Are you ready?
Holy crap! Oh my God! Wow. What can you say about this one? Yeah, I mean, you got John Jones, who, you know, is back from his troubles with the law, and he has the interim belt, and a lot of people criticized him for not looking so sharp against OSP, and then you have DC, you know, and you've got the rivalry with DC, who has the belt, but, you know, John Jones is saying, well, it's not really the belt because you never beat me.
Yep.
So I mean, and these guys have been going back and forth for years. We saw the brawl that they had, you know, on stage, and the first fight they had together, and then this mess with who's going to ref this fight with Big John. Now we know it's going to be Big John McCarthy. John Jones is against it. That's going to be an interesting factor right there, you know, because we know John Jones likes to do the little eye pokey thing.
Maybe a little bit.
What's that?
Maybe a little bit.
And you know, and Big John's going to call him on it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And DC says, "Hey, look, John Jones thinks this is all a game. To me, this is real life. This is serious, and I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to show John Jones the new things that I've been training on. When we get into the cage, it's enough with it, as Daniel Cormier said, the jibber jabber.
Well,
enough with the jibber jabber. Let's settle it in the cage." I'm really excited about this one, and I mean, I'll tell you what I think right now, if you want.
Well, wait, hold off for a second. Let me just share my opinion really quick, and then we'll both.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, so I honestly just think that John Bones, and you guys can all call me crazy, and I'd be surprised if you do. I just think that he's better in every single aspect and area. When it comes to these two going up against one another, we saw what happened in that first fight. Even DC said it. He wasn't expecting. He said that Jones seemed bigger than he expected. He took him down. We watched him out wrestle him. You know, he landed a lot of knees, and then we saw after that fight, we saw him return and fight OSP. And a lot of the argument was, ring rust. DC was there commentating, and he did a great job not being biased. I just want to point that out, especially. He did a great job commentating on that.
Yeah.
And he said that it was a missed opportunity. But then again, would you really want to fight with... I'm happy it happened this way, because if DC fought John Bones that night and he was coming off, I didn't want to see that. I want to see John Bones at his best, at his, in ready, in shape. And he took OSP on short notice. He played it safe, but he won every single round. And then he left the octagon, flicking DC off, and then it begun. And then we all started getting pumped and ready for this. We haven't seen as much trash talk. But like I said, getting into this conversation, I just think John Bones is better in every area. I think he's better accuracy. He lands more strikes per minute. I think he has better defense, takedowns, takedown defense. He's unpredictable, and he's creative. And I think he's in his prime. I think we have a lot more to see of John Bones, and we always kind of knew that.
Well, yeah, and Daniel Cormier says that John Jones is actually older in the sense he's older than his age would tell you because of his
wars.
Well, that, and wasn't he alluding to his drug habits?
Yeah,
I think he may have been talking about that as well. So Cormier, in his mind at least, has convinced himself, and I think he's trying to convince John Jones that John Jones is older than he really is.
All right. Well, here, let me argue with this one. If DC, said that, the way I'm going to respond in defense is that if that's really what you think, once John Bones or anyone gets clean, their mind comes completely unfogged, and you can think so much better, way more clear, and especially if you put everything down, including booze, pot, everything. John Bones is a freak athlete. He really is. And he's clean right now. I think that he rises to the occasion. We've seen that happen so many times. We've seen him fight in so many 5-round fights as well.
Right.
I see John Bones winning this in a decision. But I was thinking today, I was really trying to play it out in my head, and I could see Bones winning by knockout, honestly. Well, what did we see in that fight with Rumble in DC? What happened in that first round? And I know that Rumble has, crazy power, but remember what happened in the first round?
Right, didn't he?
DC almost got knocked out. I think John Bones.
Yeah.
I think John Bones can definitely knock DC out here. I think it was a huge mistake of DC to be talking about retiring after this fight too. That's showing some sort of mental weakness as well, I think.
Now that's a good point right there.
Okay, let's talk.
John Jones, with the knockout though, I mean, I don't know. Does he? He's not really a power guy.
Well, we haven't seen him win that way in a while. His last couple fights have been decision.
Right. He's. I think. You know what? I think he's gonna. I think John Jones is actually going to purposely drag this out.
Yeah.
Over 5 rounds, because he wants to try to punish.
Make a point.
Make a point once again. Didn't he say he did that the first time? He may have said that, but he's going to do it regardless of whether he said it the first time or not. He's going to drag this mother out and make it a 5-rounder again with DC, just to show him how dominant he can be without finishing. He's just going to he wants to make DC look silly again. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm glad we've got this this unholy alliance here, evil and intoxicated. And big things ahead, big plans.
Well, you know what, Ted? I really have put my life on pause right now to focus on my MMA journey. As an MMA journalist, my life is really on pause, and I've only been focusing about this because this is really where my happiness is in MMA. And, doing stuff like this and talking with people in chat, this is what makes me happy. I'm not trying to pull out tissues or anything, but I've had a pretty...
Man, you're being honest, and that's awesome, and so you're doing what you love, and why not? You know what I mean? If you have the opportunity to do what you love, then you should do it.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching Evil Intoxicated episode 3. It's been one hell of a crazy night. We had so much fun. To review what you guys might have missed if you tuned in late, we did the Dana White quote game. We gave everyone a rundown on fight week and quick news updates. So definitely check that out. We had a great night, great conversations, and a lot happened. UFC 200 has been flipped upside down. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. You guys can find me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And also, guys, my podcast is on iTunes and Podbean. So check that out. The new episode just went up tonight, right before we started the show. Check that out. I give everyone a complete rundown on Fight Week as well, an inside look of the news this week and all the top news in MMA. I do that weekly, so check that out. Just type in Pro Wrestling Authority on iTunes and you will find that. And up above me right now is Ted Check. Ted, where can everybody find you, man?
You can find me on YouTube, TEDCZECH. I do as many videos as I can each week, trying to keep you up to date on all the news, give you my insight for what it's worth. Little videos, tiny videos, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, just real quick hits to keep you updated. And I welcome all comments, concerns, questions that you have for me. Haters are welcome as well. Doesn't matter to me. It's all good. It's all part of the fun. And yeah, I'm on Twitter, sort of. I mean, I'm there, but I got to get on there more, like Eddie does, for sure. And I'm on Facebook too.
All right, so thank you guys so much for listening. We had an amazing night. I hope you guys all enjoy your fight week. Ted, I will talk to you tonight or tomorrow. This is absolutely crazy, and this changes a lot. This really does. This is the biggest event, and we watch it unravel right here on this show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and asking, playing along with us. It has been a fun time. Bring your friends next time. We do this every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Have a great night. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, ProWrestlingAuthority.com. That's Ted, and we're out. Have a great night.
Everybody.